Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Europe's Rail first Information Day. Many of you are attending this meeting, and many of you are still joining in. It is my pleasure to introduce in this meeting the list of speakers that will introduce the Information Day of Europe's Rail. But before starting, I would like just to remind that when you have accepted to register to this meeting, you have also accepted that we will be recording this meeting. So also the information later on about the slides and all the presentation and all the answer we will provide to the questions will be shared in our website. So without further ado, let me introduce you the first speaker of the day. So he's Christian Smith, Director for Land Transport from DG Move. So Christian, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Giorgio, and delighted to join you this morning, together with my good colleague, Rosalinde van der Vlies, Director at DG Research. We are happy here to welcome the first information session meant to explain to you the objectives of the rail joint undertaking and the open calls published on the 10th of March last week. Let me start by giving you the policy background that underlines this very important funding mechanism. You all know the European Green Deal. The objective there is to reach climate neutrality by 2050. The Fit for 55 package sets medium-term greenhouse gas emission reduction objectives, and the digital decade sets the path to bring Europe to the forefront of digitalization and automation. These union policy goals are the major drivers that trigger a significant transformation in our railway sector, what we're talking about here today, increasing the capacity for passenger and goods transport. And then to enable the use of rail transport and reduce further the greenhouse gas emissions of the railway sector itself. Now, to achieve this change, we must transform, we must innovate, we must ensure that the rail sector can address these different challenges, such as the change in customer requirements and the need to improve performance and capacity and competition. I think all here on this call, we love rail, but we must also realize most people don't love rail enough to be willing to pay 4 times more and travel for 4 times longer. I'd also say in this moment of war in Europe, the sector needs unity. Europe needs unity. And if you look at what the Ukrainian railways are achieving for the moment, it is an inspiration for all of us, resilience and dedication. And so I think it's for us Europeans also to pull together and to cooperate as closely and efficiently as possible. This is also why the Commission has renewed this rail joint undertaking together with the main actors from the railway industry, suppliers, infrastructure managers, railway undertakings, all of you. Europe's Rail has been formally established end of November last year, and we have now a natural successor to Shift to Rail. So Shift to Rail, the program, the legacy program, has demonstrated a real value of the sector, the real value of suppliers, infrastructure managers and railway undertakings working together and working with us, the Commission, on research and innovation. And this remains very important last year with the European Year of Rail, but I assure you that this was not just a one-year priority. During the EU Rail Summit and Informal Council of Ministers in Paris last month, EU governments together with the sector have acknowledged the need and the continuing appetite to boost rail and put it at the center of future mobility and transport. And there is a clear...
It appears we have some connection problem with Christian. In the meantime, I would say, waiting for Christian to come back, let me introduce also the next speaker. It has been already briefly introduced by Christian, but it's also my honor to introduce to you Rosalinde van der Vlies, Director for Clean Planet in the GRTD. And she's here with us, and she's also here to deliver a message to our Information Day. So maybe, Rosalinde, I ask you to continue and see in the meantime not to have pauses in the presentation and waiting for Christian to be back.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. It's a real pleasure for me to be here with you today on a beautiful day in Brussels, I have to say. And what is better to have an info day when it will be 20 degrees outside? So it's a real pleasure, as I said, and I would like to start actually by congratulating all of you to be here at this info day today, because it means that you are interested in making Europe's rail greener and more sustainable, and that you want to hop on board together with us to work together to achieve this goal in order to make a contribution to what Christian said, our key objective for the European Union to become the first climate neutral continent by 2050. And in the Commission's Smart and Sustainable Mobility Strategy, we have also set specific milestones for the rail sector. And I think it's really important because when we talk about, first climate neutral continent by 2050, of course, this sounds great. But I mean, what does it mean in practice? So I think it's really important that we have set, like interim milestones of what we want to achieve concretely. And for the rail, this means that by 2030, we want to double the high-speed rail traffic across the European Union. Then by 2050, we also want to double the rail freight traffic and move away from the freight traffic through more pollution modes of transport. Now, it's very clear that research and innovation is crucial to deliver on our green and digital transitions and also to deliver on these very clear and specific milestones that we have for the European Union. And I'm very happy that today we have Horizon Europe, which is the European Programme for Research and Innovation, and it is the biggest program ever. We have 95.5 billion euros for the next 7 years to invest in solutions, innovative solutions for the European citizens in order to drive climate neutrality forward. And a very important instrument of Horizon Europe are the partnerships that we are having with the industry. And the Clean Rail is a very important partnership. Europe's rail is today very much building also on the success that we had in the previous partnerships we have with industry. And I think it is really important more than ever that we join forces and we work together in order to make these transitions. I also think it's really important, apart from the investments that we need to make together in research and innovation solutions to make Europe's rail sustainable, also to make sure that we have the right laws in place in the European Union, the right regulatory framework to support really these green transitions. And this is why the European Commission is consistently reviewing the legislation that we have in the European Union through, for example, the Fit for 55 initiatives to make sure that also the laws that we have are supporting this green transition. I would also like to recall that last year we had a very successful European Year of Rail, which was really promoting rail as a green and sustainable mode of transport. And it's really important to make this promotion really to also reach our citizens, because we may have solutions, innovative solutions for more green and sustainable modes of transport, but we also need the buy-in from our citizens to make sure that they actually want to use it. This year we have the European Year of Youth, and I think this is another great opportunity to mobilize young people to also hop on board on our journey to cut emissions. And today we are inviting you all to do the same and to join us in this journey. Let me focus on 3 key messages when it comes now to the opportunities, the funding opportunities that we are having under Europe's rail. First of all, I think it's important to underline that Europe's rail is open to all interested parties. So any organization that is eligible for funding under Horizon Europe can hop on board and join us in this journey. The actions financed under Horizon Europe are selected based on quality and impact, and this will equally be valid for Europe's rail. The second point I would like to make is that I think it's extremely important that we have a well-balanced geographical spread of all the projects. In order for Europe's Rail to deliver on the ambitious European Green Deal, the projects under its funding should literally connect all the different corners of our continent. So that's why I really would like to invite all of you interested parties from across the European Union to look at the opportunities for you and your country in Europe's Rail. Lastly, Europe's Rail has a very strong focus on digitization and automation, and therefore it is important to also include actors that are experts in the digital transition. So we need to also move beyond what I would say, the usual stakeholder community, but expand also the community across different sectors in order to maximize our common investments. So let me conclude by saying that it's really important to connect the dots, that we strengthen our cooperation between the private sector, the public sector, and that we also strengthen the cooperation between the different partnerships that we have and the different opportunities. Let me conclude by underlining a very important initiative where I also believe that rail can play a very important role. This is the European Mission on Cities. We would like to have at least 100 climate neutral cities by 2030, and rail as a mode of transport can really help to reach this goal. As the rail stakeholder community, you will also find opportunities under the upcoming Cities Mission work program, targeting the development of public transport in cities to help the cities to become climate neutral. So to conclude, I indeed repeat my congratulations for you today to be joining on this very important information day. So get yourselves informed and get involved and hop on the journey for a climate neutral continent. Thank you.